Hey guys, Matt Nelson here with Focus Camera. Today we're going to be talking about shutter speed and how you can use it to take some amazing photos. Alright, before we can go into shutter speed, let's see how the shutter actually works so that we can better understand it.
Alright, I made a simple diagram of the inside of your DSLR to help you understand what and where your shutter is. Unless you have a mirrorless camera, your camera will pretty much look this way in the same layout. So in the diagram, you'll see that we have light entering in the lens. It then passes through the aperture and hits the mirror. Now when you go to take a picture, the mirror will flip up and the light will hit the shutter. Then your shutter will open up and allow light to hit the sensor, creating your image. The shutter controls how much light is let into the sensor. Now let's see what the shutter does when you take a picture. Your shutter is made up of 2 or more curtains. At a fast shutter speed, you will hit the shutter release button. Curtain 1 will fall, light will come through, and curtain 2 will follow closely. Then both curtains will reset to the top. At a slower shutter speed, curtain 1 will drop, light will hit the sensor, then curtain 2 will follow depending on how slow you have set the shutter. And then again, both curtains will reset to the top.
Now that we understand a little bit more about how the shutter works, let's see how we can use shutter speed to take better photos.
First, we'll look at slow shutter speeds. Slower shutter speed means more light is going to be hitting the sensor and anything that moves will blur. When photographers want to take a picture of the Milky Way, they'll use a slow shutter speed, say of 30 seconds, to let in as much light as possible from the stars. You can also use a slow shutter speed to communicate motion with light trails from traffic. As the shutter speed opens for 10 seconds, the traffic lights leave trails on the picture. You've also probably seen a picture like this before, very calm, flat water. In reality, the water isn't this calm. They just use a slow shutter speed so that the water moves and creates the impression of very smooth water on the sensor. Now to fast shutter speeds. The faster the shutter speed, the more detail you're going to capture in the image. Anytime you're going to be taking an image of something fast moving or action, you want to use a fast shutter speed to capture the moment. Shooting at higher shutter speeds requires more light, so try to get a lens with a larger aperture of f1.4 to f2.8. Now we're going to try this ourselves. We headed out to the Verrazano Narrows Bridge to try and take a picture of the bridge with some very smooth water using a slow shutter speed. We waited for it to get a little bit darker, set up our 5D Mark II with a 35mm lens, and then framed the image. We set the shutter to 20 seconds, the aperture to f4.0, and the ISO to 100. So here's our final results. While the color was processed with Lightroom, it was the slow shutter speed that gave us the smooth water and the starburst from the lights.
Alright guys, thanks for watching today's video. If you found this tutorial helpful, make sure to give us a thumbs up below. And also make sure to subscribe to our channel for more tutorials, announcements, and news on gear. If you have any questions about today's tutorial, or if there's a topic you'd like for us to cover in the future, make sure to comment below. We'll try to get to those as soon as we can. Keep up with the latest announcements and deals on gear by subscribing to our Focus newsletter. I'm Matt Nelson. I'll see you next time on Focus Tutorial Tuesday.